In today's Project GR86 video, I will be fixing a known issue that a lot of guys are disliking about the GR86 BRZ platform. When you push in on the clutch and for the disengage sweep, it's almost to the top. It's around 2/3 or beyond where you feel it start to bite. A lot of guys dislike that. My Miata's not that way. I think it's somewhere near half-ish where you start to feel it bite. Has a better engagement. So I will be changing the spring with the GKTech spring. I chose to go with this GKTech kit. They give you 2 springs and you'll use whichever one that you decide you want to use. Of course, the smaller, lighter one is going to probably give you a little bit stiffer clutch pedal. Removing the spring gives you really stiff, is what I've been told. So it's up to you which one you want to use. I think I'm going to use the lightest one, as I like more of a clutch pedal feel. The tools you need for this installation will be a long flathead screwdriver, a angled pair of needle nose, a smallest hammer you have. Of course, this is the smallest one I have, unfortunately. A pair of side cutters, and you will be wanting a couple zip ties, as you will need them for the new spring installation to compress it to make it easier for the install. Once you locate your spring, you will see that where the clip goes in, it has a lot of grease on it. Lithium grease. You'll need to rub that off. And that's where your little pick is. Where your little C-clip is that you need to pick off. Be very careful, because it could fly and you could lose it. So this little spring keeper right here, this little C-clip keeper, very hard to get off. But using the angled pick, it was a lot easier. I tried the angled needle nose, and I could not get a grip on it. It did fly onto the floorboard and into my mat, my floor mat. But luckily I was able to find it. I had my fingers wrapped around it just right for it to fly down instead of sideways. But again, it's very hard to get this little guy off here. After you have your keeper off, you got to get this center thing out. So take your flathead screwdriver, kind of walk it back a little bit, back and forth a little bit here to get it to pry sideways. Once you've got it sideways far enough, I'm going to take some pliers or something and grip it and try to pull it out now. It's going to be this hard to get back together, I wonder. Now with the pin assembly removed, you're going to have to take your long handled hammer and knock it off its perch. And it will fly out just like that. Now that we've got this removed, you'll see what I was talking about here. It went through like so, and it had this little clipper here on it. And it locks it in place, this does. It slips in the little groove there. This little C-clip thing here. So you'll see why we decided to choose the pick over the needle nose pliers, as there's these grooves here you can get under to remove it. And it doesn't fly as far, and it's just easier to get it picked off, mainly. Now there's 2 springs in the kit. As you can see, one is wound with longer, with bigger windings. That's 33% reduction. One is smaller. With smaller, that's 66% reduction. Here is the factory one. I'm not sure how this 33 is a reduction. It looks bigger, but oh, when you press it, you can feel it. This one's much softer than the firmness of this one. Oh, it barely wants to move. And then this one is like really a lot softer. It still has the spring back to it, so it's not going away. So I'm going to put this lighter one in because that's a firmer, they're saying in their instructions. I went ahead here and I went from the first hole down, or the first area in the winding down, the first area in the winding down here, and the same thing pretty much over here that I could grab onto. And I've compressed these as tight as I can go. As tight as I can go to try to get this smaller, to get it in there much easier. So I'm going to be straight up here with you and tell you the honest truth. Hardest part of this job is getting the C-clip back on. I thought I lost it a few times and it got caught underneath my light here on the magnet, luckily. Didn't go behind the rug. So not very easy to get that bad boy on. You'll have to push it down from the top. Once you get it clipped in with your fingers started, then you use your needle nose to push it fully on. You do need needle nose that are crooked. To get the zip ties out, I found it easiest after cutting them to use your needle nose to pull them down, because they'll stay inside because the spring is still tight. Just setting in the car, I can feel a difference in the clutch pedal. So now I'm going to go on a drive and see what it feels like and see if there's any difference in the pedal. Yeah, I can immediately tell in reverse. Somewhere's about halfway now. It's starting to bite now. Feels more like the Miata does. Very much improvement. Yeah, I can really feel about halfway or so it starts to bite now. Dramatic improvement. I do recommend the 66% GKTech spring. Not sure how the other springs react. You know, they only give you one, the other kits do. But just backing up, I can tell a difference. Oh yeah! Way better. That's how the clutch should have reacted from the factory. Way better engagement, even just driving down the road here. Engages a lot quicker, a lot smoother. Way better. Major improvement. I can get into the gears faster, like from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and so on. Get into the gears faster. You don't have to ride the pedal as much. You can just immediate smooth. Very much improvement. I don't need to go very far on this drive to tell you this modification is very awesome and I'm in love with it. Now if I can just get a tune to remove the emission control rev hang, it's like driving a different car. I do recommend this modification. If you have the patience of working with that little E-clip that's hard to get out, well, it wasn't as hard to get out as it was to put it back in. I do recommend this. I think this is like an OEM Plus modification. That's going to conclude today's video. Please like and subscribe. Have a great week.